We commend you. We've got about 5 minutes left in this segment, and then 5 minutes after that before you've got to leave us. We want to be respectful of your time and also your strength recovering from the near-death experience you had in that airplane crash. And it's a blessing that you and the pilot survived. To get back to the collapse of Europe, I mean, it is collapsing, and the intel we just got from Jim Tucker, who's always spot on, I mean, you could set your watch and warrant by him, is that they are panicking. They're not even sure they can have world government now. They say their carbon tax is basically dead, and that and that many of them, for the first time in 60-plus years, did not attend. So it appears they are now being routed.
Yes, they are. I mean, their dreams are falling to pieces, whether it's the single currency union, whether it's the whole global warming carbon tax scam, because scam is the only word that's appropriate for it. The whole thing is failing. It's losing public support massively by the day. It doesn't work in practical terms. But, let's not be complacent about this. Just because their plans are failing doesn't mean they're going to stop. And my fear is that what they're going to do now is they're going to move down a route of suppressing free speech, of censuring, and maybe ultimately even imprisoning those who challenge them and fight them. And I mean, the last time, Alex, I came on with you, we talked about my discussion that I had with Herman Van Rompuy, an unelected, unknown Belgian who is now president of 500 million people. And because I told him a few home truths, because I tried to be like the boy in the Hans Christian Andersen tale, saying, look, the emperor's got no clothes, remember that I was not just castigated for that, I was actually fined 10 days' pay for having the temerity to point out.
You were censured.
I was censured and I was fined, absolutely, told this would never happen again. So what they'll do, as the edifice collapses, what they will do is they will become even less democratic and even more vicious against those that dare to speak out against them. This battle is far from won just because their dreams are failing.
Absolutely. They're announcing in the U.S. that they now want to restrict the Internet. They want to restrict talk radio. It's now in the news. They're now proposing, and I see the same things in Europe. I mean, they can't beat us in the realm of ideas, so they're going to try to just shut us up and put us in the tower.
Absolutely. That is entirely right. And I have to say that looking at Obama from this side of the water, and I've felt this ever since he was elected, I really genuinely think that you have got a very dangerous president indeed.
Oh, I agree. He has got a cult following, though he's only got a 40% approval rating now. That group is getting more. It's almost like as Germany was collapsing and the most hardcore Nazis were supporting Hitler. They just didn't care. They were going to support him till the end. Yeah.
No, I'm constantly struck that there are these similarities between what's happening here and what is beginning to happen in America. And people have got to start waking up.
What about the British people? I mean, I know that you say both parties are, the big main parties are controlled, and they certainly are. Mr. Cameron's a Bilderberg, Stooley, Minion. I mean, at least the fact that they threw out Brown shows that they're wanting change.
Well, it does show they want change. But what we finished up here with in Britain is a very floppy coalition government. Cameron's Conservatives are in bed now with the most Euro-fanatical, most anti-democratic Liberal Democrat Party. So whilst we've got rid of Brown, I'm afraid things ain't no better.
Because now people have got to have time to wake up to the fact that he's running a con on them. Let's come back and talk more about the future of Europe and how you see England responding as Europe collapses. Nigel Farage is our guest, member of the UK Independence Party, former leader. Nigel Farage, looking at the political landscape, I was talking during the break, I said, what do you think is most important? And you said, well, people think they've elected Mr. Cameron and gotten a change. They need to understand it's controlled change. They need to elect truly independent parties. And you see the UK Independent Party really surging and growing and being ignored by the media and demonized when they do cover it. And it's the same thing here. Now, every incumbent in the primaries, every incumbent is being defeated. Every establishment candidate is being defeated. So it does look like the awakening's happening. And I think as soon as people figure out that things stay just as bad with Cameron, just like with Obama from Bush, there's going to be a very fast wake-up here. Can you give us your take on that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, look, millions of people are hopeful that Cameron somehow is going to be different. But, you know, the penny's going to drop, and they're going to realise that actually they've got somebody that looks different, sounds different, appears to be more reasonable. But the reality is we have surrendered our sovereignty. We have given away our ability to govern ourselves, and it doesn't matter a damn anymore who is sitting in number 10 Downing Street. And that's why parties like the UK Independence Party are going to continue to grow. And frankly, you know, that's what you need in America. Because, again, you know, I'm looking at it from 3,000 miles away. But I don't see the Republican Party actually offering any proper opposition to Obama. So start seeking alternatives. Start seeking candidates that have actually got the courage to stand up for democracy. At the end of the day, you know, what this really comes down to, it's a battle of democracy versus bureaucracy. And the global governists, they don't believe in democracy. They believe that they know best. They don't want the voters to change things. And that's the great battle. And I think we should really take heart, because people are, all across the Western world, waking up to what's being done to them.
And that's why the system is scared. You probably haven't had a chance to see it. I don't like to talk about myself here, but this is such great news. Zbigniew Brzezinski 3 weeks ago said to the CFR, for the first time the entire world is awake, our world government's in trouble. And now Bilderberg, a reporter for The Guardian, who, by the way, went for the first time last year making fun of us, now he knows how real it is, he was there when they shut it down and closed it, and he overheard at dinner the main Bilderberg managers, the minions, before they arrived, talking about, oh, these horrible protesters, oh, that Alex Jones bullhorned us in Canada and in the U.S. It's so scary. Will they attack? And they sound like addled children who aren't connected to the real world. I'm reminded of George Bush Sr. on TV 10 years after they were adopted, not knowing what a food checkout scanner is. But you know, listening to these quotes he was writing down, they sound like, you know, almost these glow-in-the-dark people that can't even feed themselves.
No, I mean, listen, Alex, of course they're scared of you. And they've been scared, I must say, you know, in Britain and in the EU, they've been scared of me for many, many years. And this is the reason I've written this book, Fighting Bull. I've chronicled how they've tried to put obstacles in my path, how they've used the black arts against me for over a decade. They've done everything they can to rubbish me, to label me as an extremist, to try and keep me off the media. They've tried to do all these things because they're terrified of the arguments, because they know that in their hearts, most people, most of us who live in the Western world, are tax-paying, law-abiding, decent people. And when we realise what has been done in our name, we will rebel against it. And, you know, we just got to keep fighting. We've got to keep fighting. We know we've got right on our side. We know that in the end, democracy is a thing that will always triumph. We know that every time in the past there have been these experiments, whether it's communism, European federalism, or global governments, it does not work. So, you know, listeners, remember that. Bad those things are, be optimistic, don't give up, and keep fighting.
Well, that's, in the last minute or two we've got, that is what's exciting here, is that reading these quotes, I mean, we're just normal, nice people that want freedom and sovereignty, and they're scared to death of us. They're scared to death of you. They are horrified that people are now testifying before the European Union Parliament about the world government. I mean, it shows that they're not invincible, that they are human as well.
Well, it does. And just give you a little example. Global warming. The whole hysteria over global warming. 2 weeks ago, Lord Monckton, Christopher Monckton, who's been on your programme before, and who was a luminary in the UK Independence Party, Monckton won a debate at the Oxford University Union the other week on the question of global warming. 2 years ago, with a young audience who'd been brainwashed, that would have been unthinkable. Completely unthinkable. And it just shows that through the efforts of all of us to make the arguments, to connect with the people, we're beginning to win.
If you just have right on your side, as the Texas Ranger founder said, that a man in the wrong can't stand up against a man in the right if the man in the right keeps on a-coming. And but I think it's well taken what you said, Nigel Farage, one of the founding members of the UK Independence Party, former leader of it, European Union Member of Parliament, author of the new book that's out, that they're going to strike back, though. The empire is going to strike back. Give us the name of your book one more time.
It's Fighting Bull. I am the fighting bull of British politics. I'm the fighting bull of European politics. And you know what? A plane crash isn't going to stop me.
God bless you, sir. Thank you so much for spending time with us. We'll be right back from Bilderberg 2010 in Spain.